You are 19 years old. You can feel the rope cutting into your wrists. The cell stinks of something that isn't exactly mold. It's rot. Human rot. In just the last 2 years, you accomplished what kings failed to do. You raised a nation up. You cracked siege lines that seasoned strategists swore could never fall. English commanders have jolted awake in the night, your name echoing through their dreams. And still, they caught you. Your head has been shaved bare. The cold air bites your scalp, as if thousands of needles are stabbing at once. They paraded you through that disgrace, as if it were a ceremony turned inside out, stripping you down layer by layer. Your armor is gone. Your voice no longer carries weight. When you speak, the guards don't even react. Today, you signed a document. The words blur together now, but the shape of their meaning is burned into you. Deny your saints. The voices are demons. The visions that redirected history, mere hallucinations. The mission God placed on you, nothing but delusion, and wear this dress. Tight, humiliating, choking. A garment meant to turn you back into an object instead of a fighter. You believed you were saving your life. What you truly signed was a flawless snare. And the most vicious part is that they designed it so you would step into it willingly. This is the story of how Joan of Arc was legally destroyed, how the most advanced legal system of the medieval world was sharpened and aimed at a teenage girl who never realized she was entering a cage with no exit. This isn't merely about a trial. It's about the methodical dismantling of a human being using law as the instrument. And what happened to her in 1431 is not confined to the past, it still happens now. If you believe history deserves to be told accurately, stay with me, because this is a story someone tried very hard to erase. Let's go back to 1429. You have to understand who Joan was before they broke her, because that's the only way to grasp how they did it. France is dying, not figuratively, literally. The 100 Years' War has been grinding on for over a century. Think about that. 100 years of a nation bleeding while the English take territory piece by piece, fortress by fortress. The south is English, the north is English, the coastline is English. Your king sits in a palace at Bourges, uncrowned, watching his realm shrivel like a body left under the sun. The war isn't just draining gold anymore, it has drained belief. Military leaders are convinced the English cannot be defeated. Nobles are cutting quiet deals with the enemy. Parents are raising their children to believe a French victory is nothing more than a bedtime myth. This is no longer a war. It's an occupation wearing a war's disguise. Then, in January 1429, a girl walks into the Dauphin's court. She comes from Domremy, a village so insignificant that most educated men in France couldn't locate it on a map. She cannot read. She has never wielded a sword. Her name is Joan, and she tells Charles that God sent her to save France. Most dismiss her as mad. But she isn't insane. She's something more dangerous. She's certain. She tells the Dauphin precisely what he needs to hear. That God has not abandoned France. That the English will be expelled. That all this suffering has meaning, and he allows her to ride with his armies. What follows shatters every rule of medieval warfare. Joan arrives at the siege of Orléans, the most critical stronghold still under English control. For months, the English have held it with barely 5,000 men, experienced, hardened soldiers. The French have hurled everything they have at Orléans and failed again and again, like arrows snapping against stone. Then Joan appears, and something shifts. It isn't that she fights with superior tactics. It's that the soldiers believe in a different outcome. When she rides toward the walls, they follow, not because she issues commands, but because something about her presence says, this will succeed. And somehow, impossibly, it does. Orléans falls, the English commander is captured. The unthinkable becomes real. One victory follows another, and then another. In May 1429, Joan stands beside Charles as he is crowned King of France at Reims. She is in armor. The crowd roars. This is no longer just a sacred ceremony, it's confirmation. A 19-year-old peasant girl has rewritten the boundaries of what can happen. She has shown an entire nation that the English are not unstoppable. She has returned something everyone thought was gone forever: hope. By the summer of 1429, Joan of Arc is the most powerful figure in France. Not officially, on paper, Charles is king, but everyone understands the reality. The girl who hears saints is the reason France is still alive. The English see this as well, and they begin planning not to defeat her on the battlefield. She's already proven they can't. She's blessed. Or, if you prefer, she carries luck that borders on the impossible. No, they will destroy her in court. Because there is one place where Joan's divine mission has no protection, inside the machinery of theology and law. In May 1430, Joan is leading troops at Compiègne, a small town near the border separating French and Burgundian territory. The Burgundians are technically French nobles, but since the Treaty of Troyes, they've sided with England. They play both sides, and everyone knows it. During a skirmish, a Burgundian soldier seizes Joan. It's almost ordinary. One moment she's on horseback urging men forward. The next, she's pulled down, encircled, taken captive. It should have ended there. A prisoner of war ransomed, exchanged, or released. But it didn't. Instead, the Burgundians sold her to the English for 10,000 livres, the price of a saint, the cost of a woman who had single-handedly altered the course of European warfare. To put that number in perspective, it could sustain a family for 200 years. This wasn't a ransom, it was a sale, a transaction. The English weren't buying a girl. They were purchasing an icon they needed erased. And here's the crucial point. Joan is no longer valuable because she's a military threat. She's valuable because she represents something. She is proof that God favors France. Living evidence that the English occupation can be broken. If they can prove she's a fraud, if her voices are demonic, her visions delusional, her faith witchcraft, then they won't have just eliminated a soldier. They will have destroyed an idea, and they will make her testify against herself. They have forced her to undo herself, using her own words. In January 1431, Joan is brought to Rouen, the English stronghold and the administrative heart of English-occupied France. What follows is presented as a religious inquiry, an ecclesiastical court, bishops and theologians, canon law and scripture. On the surface, it looks legitimate. In reality, it is a staged proceeding. Every detail is controlled. Joan is kept in chains, not in a convent under the watch of nuns as church law demands, but inside a military fortress guarded day and night by 5 English soldiers. The courtroom is packed with judges loyal to England. The prosecutor works hand in glove with English military leadership. The men assigned to defend her are judges pretending to be advocates, arguing against her instead of protecting her. From the start, the goal is clear: her destruction. There are 70 sessions, 70 separate hearings spread across months. They wear her down relentlessly. The sharpest theological minds in France against a 19-year-old girl who cannot read or write. She has no lawyer, no counselor, no ally. She stands alone. And yet, she is winning. She will never persuade these judges, but she is winning in a way that matters more. She is winning in the arena of reason. When they ask whether she knows she is in God's grace, a classic theological snare designed so that any answer condemns her, she gives one of the most flawless replies ever recorded: "If I am not, may God place me there. And if I am, may God keep me there." They ask whether God hates the English. She responds, "Of God's love or hatred for the English, I know nothing. But I do know this: they will all be driven from France, except those who die here." It isn't rebellious, it isn't reckless, it is precise. She is outthinking men who spent decades in universities. She throws scripture back at theologians. Every trap they lay, she deflects. When they threaten her with torture, they show her the tools, the rack, the strappado, devices meant to tear joints apart while keeping the victim alive long enough to suffer. She looks at them and says, "Truly, if you were to pull my limbs from my body and separate my soul from it, I would tell you nothing more." Then she adds the part that matters most: "And if I did say anything, I would later say that you forced me to say it." She is telling them that confessions gained through torture are meaningless. She understands legal procedure better than her judges. She knows they can destroy her body, but her testimony would forever be tainted, and so they retreat. Torture is off the table. They change strategy. If theology won't break her, and pain won't silence her, they will use fear and exhaustion. She is going to die, but not yet, not before she signs something. May 24, 1431. You are pulled from your cell one last time. You don't know it's the last, but your body senses the difference. There is finality in the way the guards grip you. You are taken to the cemetery of Saint-Ouen, a public square. Hundreds are already there. No thousands. Word has spread. This is the day Joan burns. A scaffold stands in the square with two preachers atop it. Bishop Pierre Cauchon is present, the architect of the trial, the man who has guided every step of your undoing. He is pro-English, ambitious. For years he has sought the Archbishopric of Rouen. The English have made the bargain clear, condemn Joan, and the title is yours. He is about to deliver a final sermon, branding you a heretic,